Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm going to be doing a makeup tutorial today using Huda Beauty, and I'm also going to be doing a little bit of eyeshadow today, which I haven't shown you guys that before, so stay tuned to see this look. So I'm going to be using Huda Beauty. I just ordered a few things from her new Haze collection. So I got this super cute jelly bag package. And I also got my favorite lashes from her, Jacqueline number 20. And as far as samples, I got a Kylie scent and the lip balm, which I've been super excited to try in shade Blush. So this is from the new Haze Obsessions collection. Inside we have the khaki Haze Obsessions eyeshadow palette, and then as well as the mini liquid lipsticks. So this is the khaki Haze Obsessions eyeshadow palette, and here are the colors. So super nude, very natural, neutral tones, easy to kind of blend and work with, very versatile. This is the collection of liquid matte minis, also from the Haze collection. And there's 4 lipsticks in here. We have Venus, Savage, Legend, and Billionaire. I also have a few other things from Huda Beauty that I'm going to be using today. So I do have this Buff and Blend brush, which I'm going to use for my foundation. And I have a Face Sculpt and Shade contour brush. So I'm going to be using that for the contour of my cheeks. And you guys know that I like her concealer. I also use her Lash Glue. So we're going to be using a few things from the Huda Beauty collection today. So before we even start with the makeup, you guys know that I always like to apply a lip balm to keep my lips nice and hydrated. That way when I'm done and I apply my lipstick, it goes on very soft and smooth. So I'm going to be using the Huda Beauty Silk Balm in shade Blush. And this is a Hydro Pumping Lip Balm. There's no scent to it. Super smooth, like very creamy, very workable. It definitely does feel silky. So especially when you're going to go in with a matte lipstick, you want to make sure that your lips are nice and hydrated. If they're crusty or dry, make sure that you exfoliate before. That way when you put on your lipstick, it goes on super smooth and doesn't crack in weird places, and it's more wearable throughout the day. So always start with a lip balm before you even do your makeup, and then when you're done with your makeup, just wipe off the lip balm before you apply your lipstick. So normally I would just apply my primer, foundation, concealer, all of that with my fingers, but today, since I want to try her brushes, I'm going to be using that. So this is for my primer and for my foundation, then I'm going to use this side for bronzer and this side for concealer. So far the brush is really cool, it goes on really smooth. So now I'm going to go back in with my foundation. So I just used the Huda Beauty Face Buff and Blend brush to apply my primer, and then followed that with my foundation. With the primer, it went on really smooth. With the foundation, I felt like it was tugging a little bit, so I don't know if maybe it's best to just mix the primer and foundation and apply it all at once, or you have to work really quickly with the product to avoid the tugging. Now I'm going to use the Huda Beauty Face Sculpt and Shade brush for bronzer and for concealer. I'm going to use the Overachiever concealer from Huda Beauty in shade Cookie Dough. So with the brush, you don't really need too much product because it's easier to keep in place versus using the Beauty Blender. So I feel like I applied too much product. So now I'm just going to go back with my foundation brush and just kind of blend and blur the lines. And to set my concealer, I'm going to use my Beauty Blender and just a translucent setting powder. So that was a pretty smooth application, but because I'm not used to using the brush, it just took me longer to blend it in. And I definitely applied too much, but I was able to work it all in at the end. So now I'm going to go back in with the Huda Beauty Tantour in Light. And I'm going to be using this side of the brush for that. So whenever I use brushes or anything, even Beauty Blender, I like to keep it pretty clean, keep the product separated. That way I can always go back and use that side of the brush or the sponge to make any corrections or further blending. So I'm just tapping in my foundation brush to make sure there is no like harsh lines from the bronzer. So now I'm going to apply my highlighting cream, and this is a Trustique mini highlight stick. Before I start my powders, I do like to use setting spray just to kind of seal everything in, and then I'll use setting spray again at the very end. So I'm using the Milk Makeup Blur Spray. So I did my whole face using 2 brushes and the Beauty Blender just to apply my setting powder. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to eyeshadow, and I'm using the Khaki Haze Obsessions eyeshadow palette. I'm going to use this one right here as a transition color just to kind of blend everything together, and I'm going to use that right at the crease. Make sure you always dust off your brush so it's not falling all over your face and kind of staining what you already worked on. So I'm going to apply it to the crease of my eye here, and you can already see where my crease is at, so I'm just going to follow that. And you always want to work in a circular motion when you're trying to blend. With a similar like round tip brush, I'm going to go back in and just blend. So this one's clean, it has no product. So with the first brush, I set in the product, and now I'm just going to blend. Same circular motion. So now that I have my transition color in, I'm going to go back in with this pinkish color right here. I'm going to focus it more on the outer corner versus blending it all in. And I'm going to use the same brush, I just kind of dusted off the excess powder. So these eyeshadows are super pigmented, so you want to make sure you're not overusing it. That way you can still go back in and blend. So I'm focusing it on the outer corner of my eye, and I'm going to be pulling it just a little bit so it kind of goes into like a little wing versus staying very round. And I'm relying on my natural crease just to do a lot of the work for me, so I'm pressing it into where my eye crease is and just working with that. So next I'm going to go in with the shimmery color right here, and I'm going to apply it to just my entire lid. So So for this one, I do want the coverage to kind of stay on the lid, so I'm still dusting off the excess powder, but instead of doing a circular motion, I'm kind of just patting it in. To get the eyeshadow to pop a little bit, I'm going to dip my finger into it and then just press it into the center of my lid. I'm going to use this color right here in the inner corner of my eye just to give a little bit of a highlight. I'm going to use the same color here to highlight my brow. Sometimes when you're doing eyeshadow too, you're like, I don't know where this is going, it's not blending, whatever the case may be. Just keep going, because once it's all on there, it kind of just blends and looks well, especially if you're going to add eyeliner or add eyelashes at the end. Don't be too hard on yourself, just go for it, try it. My biggest tip is with product, start slow and make sure you're dusting off the excess product. That way you can really blend the colors in versus applying a lot of product at once and then you can't blend it out. Now that I have the basic eye in, I could go back in and analyze and see if I want to add more or accentuate different areas of my eye or whatnot. With eyeshadow, even though you're dusting off, you still might have some fallout, so you can use your foundation brush, you can use your beauty blender, you can use your concealer brush to just kind of help blur that out. And if you want to define the shape of it, you can go back in with concealer and kind of clean up the edges. Last, I'm going to put a little bit of color underneath this color here, which I didn't use earlier. Okay, so now I'm gonna move on to lashes. My eyelashes are like super thin and straight and boring, so I always do lash strips. So I'm using the Sephora, it's a Sephora collection. It was like, I think a limited edition or some type of collab, but I really love this eyelash curler. I used the Tarte one for so long, but it would always break after a few months. So I'm really loving this one. And the way I curl my eyelashes, I do it in 3 steps. So I'll curl right at the base, squeeze for a few seconds, and then move up in the lash and curl like in the center, and then I curl the tips. That gives it a nice curl throughout versus just doing like one awkward press in the middle of your eyelash and then it's straight and then straight up, you know? So this gives it a nice curl. And my eyelashes don't hold a curl too well, so I'll usually curl them in the beginning and then curl them again right before I apply my eyelashes. That way my natural lashes and the lash strip blend together. Otherwise, my eyelashes are going to be straight and then the strip is going to be curly, and then you're going to be able to tell that you have fake eyelashes on. So again, I'm going to use Huda Beauty lashes in Jacqueline number 20. So I really like these lashes because they look pretty natural, kind of wispy, nice and dark, so you can still see that you're wearing fake eyelashes. But it has like a brownish lash weaved into it, so it just gives it more texture and more dimension, and it just pops more. You want to make sure that you take off the little bit of glue that they use to tape it to the box. Usually just on the outer corners. Once you've taken off the extra glue, you want to wiggle it a little bit just to loosen the band so it's not so like stiff, and that way it hugs your natural lashes a little bit better. I'm going to be using the Huda Beauty Lash Glue. I like to use a black lash glue because I don't wear eyeliner often, so this kind of just gives it a little bit of darkness at the base. So I apply the lash glue directly onto the lash strip. And then you do want to give it a few seconds to dry before you apply it on. That way it gets a little bit more tacky and it's easier to adhere to your lash line. If you put it on super wet, it's going to be moving around a lot. Right before I actually go in and put on the lash, I'm gonna curl my eyelashes again. So I gave the lash about 20-30 seconds for the glue to dry a little bit before I apply it on. And I grab the eyelash in the center and I'm gonna place it into the center of my eye. But before pressing it down, I'm going to adjust the outer corner first and then the inner corner just to make sure it perfectly shapes my eye. Tilt my head to the side a little bit just so I can make sure that there's no gaps in between, so I can see every little angle of the eyelash. Once you're happy with the application of your lash, you can press it down just to kind of secure it really close to your lash line. Newer lashes are harder to apply, so don't get discouraged if you get a new set and you can't really work with it. Just keep trying. Once you're happy with your placement, before the glue fully dries, you want to make sure that you're pinching the lashes together. That way your natural eyelashes and the lash strip bind together and you can't tell that you're wearing fake eyelashes. Okay, so now that my eyeshadow and lashes are on, I'm just gonna go back in and apply my powder, bronzer, and highlight. So my face is pretty much done. I just need to do my brows and lipstick. So I have the 4 liquid matte minis. I'm not sure which one I'm gonna use yet, but I'm gonna show you guys some swatches. Here are the swatches. I've used her matte lipsticks before and I do love the formula. With today's look, I think I'm gonna go with Savage. Overall, these two are my favorite. This one I could see myself going towards all the time because I love nudes. I also love like rich browns, but for today we're gonna do this one here. So for my lips, I'm gonna go in with the liquid matte mini in shade Savage. What do you guys think? So the darkness of the lipstick kind of brings out the darkness from the outer corner of the eyeshadow. So you always kind of want to incorporate something so that the look pieces together. This would look really good with the nude tone as well though. I just need to do my brows and I'm going to do that off camera and then I'll show you guys the final look. Okay, so off camera I changed my lipstick to shade Venus. With the previous lipstick, I forgot to remove the lip balm, so it's drying weird, like especially on like the outline of my lips. So I just removed it and then decided I wanted to try shade Venus. See how the eyeshadow, like it just all comes together once you have your lashes and everything is done. But here's like a quick little close-up. Okay, so that completes the look. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. If you have any questions about the products that I used, anything like that. I hope you guys enjoyed the process getting ready with me.